And hello and welcome to another exterior video where I work on my truck. Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. And today I'm gonna be coming back and working on my skid plates, and today I'm gonna be working on my transfer case skid plate. So stick around and I hope you guys gonna like this video. Now online there is multiple templates and blueprints or whatever they call for the skid plate, but unfortunately I don't really like them. One of them doesn't really cover all of it. It just goes underneath the transfer case and then just ends there, and it acts like like a skid, I guess. And the other blueprint doesn't have all the measurements, so I kind of tried to figure out the things on my own. So I went ahead and I made a template on my own, because for the most blueprints it doesn't even show where to make the bends. On one of them it shows, but the skid plate ends only up to here. But I'm gonna go all the way to secure the second crossbar, and I'm changing it a little bit because most skid plates that have been sold, this is just a flat part over here, but my plan is to reinforce it, so we'll see how's that gonna come out. And I already cut the piece from my big sheet of metal, so now I'm gonna start measuring where I'm gonna make the bends and what excess I have to cut off. So let's see what happens. And try to just copy these marks that I already have it, cut off all the excess and start making the bends. And yeah, I hope it's gonna work. It should work. Okay, so after a little bit of playing with numbers, this is how the skid plate is gonna look. I'm gonna have a 5.5 first portion, then it's gonna get bent down a little bit at 6.5. Then it's gonna go underneath the transfer case, 7.5, then go up again 6.5, and then over here I have 6 inches going this way. And on the sides I'm gonna have about maybe an inch, like over here, which is gonna be my like a reinforcement wall, and 2.5 inch on both sides of the crossbar, which I'm planning to screw maybe 2 screws over here and 1 screw over here, or all 3 screws. I don't know, maybe probably gonna have to drill a hole. But as of now I'm just gonna get my cutoff wheel, cut off all this extra here, here and here, and then I'm gonna start making my notches where I'm gonna make the bends, and then we'll see. Then I'm gonna try to see if it fits in there, and then I'm gonna weld it. So I think I have all the pre-cuts are done where I have to make my bends. So the 2 inside bends gonna be here, and the other bends I have a pre-cut on the other side. And over here actually it's 6.5. I made a mistake, it's not 5.5, but just a wrong number I wrote there. So now if everything goes well, I can start bending all these 4 bends and then bend these for reinforcement. Is that gonna be easy or not? I don't know. Let's try it out. Let's see if we can bend this. I don't need a whole lot of bends. Okay. And I'm just gonna do a small bend. So over here we have about 7 degrees bend. If this table is straight, so over here I have about 6 degrees or something like that, so that should be more than enough. Okay, let's check. 3 degrees, a little more. Alright, about 5 degrees, that should be good. Now this side. And I'm trying to just maintain the same bends, so it's all gonna be even. So here we should get somewhere around 5 degrees, and we're pretty close. Try to make all my bends 5 degrees, that way it's gonna be even going down and up. A little more. Okay, that looks close enough. So now I'm gonna make sure that all my bends are even, gonna straighten them out, and gonna start bending these parts. Okay, the bend seems to be alright. Now I'm gonna bend these two parts over here, and I'm actually gonna take it underneath the truck, make sure it fits. Maybe I need to bend it more or less, some of them, and then I'm gonna work on these edges. If I'm not mistaken, this has to be at 45 degrees. 40. Alright. On the other side. Alright. So I intentionally made this actually longer, but there's no need. I just took it under a truck and it's even sticks out. So I'm gonna cut it at this line, about 1 inch less. And these side reinforcements, I was thinking to make them 2 inches, but I think there is no need for that. So I'm just gonna cut it at 1 inch, gonna leave them 1 inch tall or high or whatever, and then gonna start bending them all. So all the extra parts are cut off. So now I'm gonna enlarge these cutouts with a grinder wheel, just make it wider, so when I'm bending, these edges not gonna interfere with the bend. And as I'm bending, I'm probably gonna have to cut it more and more, but yeah. Okay, so all of this is ready. So now I'm gonna bend this. Hopefully it bends easy. And then gonna check one more time all the curves, all the bends, and then probably start welding. Okay. Okay. And as I was saying, now I just have to enlarge this a little more because it's touching over there, and then I can bend it in more. And then I'm gonna repeat the whole process for everything, and then we're gonna come back to it. And alright, I think all the bends are done now. Maybe I have to adjust a little bit some of them over here, but it's not too bad. So now I'm gonna be working on making the cutouts to fill up these, so I can weld these and these. So basically this is gonna be something like this, hopefully, just to reinforce it. So I'm gonna cut this out, and we're gonna start welding all of this. Alright, and we are ready to start welding. So I cut out some pieces of metal that I'm planning to weld in here to reinforce these bends, these openings that I had. So I guess that's still better than nothing. And then I'm just gonna start welding all of the edges and all of the cutouts that I made. And once I do that, and then we're gonna start measuring the holes for the bolts. So right now I'm just checking, make sure that the plate still fits over here, and if you can see, it wraps around this crossbar perfect. So I'm gonna have one bolt over here, one bolt on this side, and one bolt on this side. So in total it's gonna be 3 bolts holding it from this side, and as you can see I reinforced all of this, and then I'm just gotta make sure I get the right holes for the 4 or 5 bolts on that side. Now I'm also looking over here, maybe I should do a little cutout for exhaust pipe.
so it won't be so close, so it's not gonna overheat. So probably, yeah, I'm gonna cut this out a little bit as well. So now I'm working on where I'm gonna make the holes for the bolts. So what I did, I cut off a piece of cardboard 18-inch long, the width of basically the width of the skid plate, and then I put all the bolts in the holes where they're supposed to be, and then I just simply put a cardboard where it's supposed to be. Previously I marked here and here the line where the skid plate is gonna be, and then just compress it against the heads of the bolts, make a small indentation, then I cut a hole through, and now I'm checking, make sure the bolts are fit, and they fit perfect. I think it's even easier and faster than trying to measure everything, and then there is a possibility of messing it up. So now I'm gonna transfer these measurements, copy it on a skid plate, mark them, drill them, check it again, make sure it fits, and then it's ready to be painted.
So now I'm gonna make 5 holes over here for the bolts. First with a small drill bit, of course, as always, and then I'm gonna make it enough for the bolts itself. So that should be good now. Maybe I have to enlarge one of them, but I doubt. All the holes are done. I also made a little cutouts over here for the exhaust pipe, so it's not touching it anyways, but just to be a bit further away so it doesn't overheat. And now once again I'm just gonna paint it with a primer first, and then I'm gonna paint it with all the remaining colors, and then at the end we're gonna see the final result. Alright guys, finally the skid plate is completely done. It's finished, it's all painted. I think it came out not too bad. All the holes are done, all the cutouts. So I have all my bolts over here that I'm gonna be using, and hopefully all the holes are still matching. I hope it didn't flex or didn't warp when I was welding it, but after that I still tried it anyways. But I think it came out pretty good. So now I'm just gonna go under the truck. I'm gonna try to mount it real quick, and then we're gonna take a look how it looks underneath over there. Alright guys, it's all done. As you can see, it's all mounted, and I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. What do you guys think? So I have 2 holes over here to drain the water in case there is gonna be water, but I didn't make any holes over there because I don't think the water is gonna accumulate there, but if it does, I will just make a couple of holes, we'll see. I personally really like how it came out, especially like this, the way it reinforced it from 3 sides. So I have 2 bolts M8 30mm on both sides, and over here I put 3/4 bolt as well, same as I used at the other skid plate to mount to the crossbars. So yes, I think it came out pretty good. So that's how it all looks now. I have 3 skid plates over here, from the engine to the transmission to the transfer case. I think it looks pretty good. At least I'm happy. It was a fun project to do, and I saved a lot of money. Alright guys, another project successfully done. I'm very happy the way it came out, and I'm very happy that I was able to build all of those 3 skid plates by myself without spending thousands of dollars. I know they might not be perfect if you would buy them online, but I had fun building those skid plates. I'm still debating whether I should make a skid plate for a gas tank or not. Maybe I'm gonna make it from something else. I still don't know yet. But those 3 main skid plates, I'm glad I have them now. So now I can be more sure in my truck going somewhere that I'm not gonna hit anything underneath important. It's a little bit time consuming projects, but once you do one skid plate, it kind of gets easier. Because the first skid plate took me the longest to build, the second one was much faster, and the third one, even though it was a bit more complicated with a lot of bends and with a lot of parts that I needed to weld, I did it faster than any other skid plates I did. So it's a very fun and interesting project to do. I know I'm gonna be doing more stuff. I have some other plans that I'm thinking to make. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but now that was a good start to practice. And I hope you guys were enjoying those 3 videos where I build the skid plates. I hope maybe you guys learned something as well, what not to do. Depending on your time and budget, maybe it's easier and better to buy them online to save yourself a couple of days of work, or if you're up for a challenge and you're willing to try it, that's a good project to do. So on this note, I hope you guys enjoy these videos. I hope you might find it helpful, and until next time, everybody, bye.